Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'm sharing with you 3 delicious soup recipes. I absolutely adore soup because it's so hearty, delicious and perfect if you're feeling ill. These recipes are easy, they're delicious and I really hope you enjoy them. As usual, they're all linked in the description box down below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you enjoy it, and let's get cooking. This soup recipe is a classic minestrone. I actually haven't done one of these for the channel before, and it's something that's usually vegan. You can add vegetables, pasta or rice, and some kind of beans. We're going for bolotti beans, and I've opted for macaroni. I know that there are more traditional pastas, but in the supermarket, you just want to get the small pasta and go for a shape that you like. This is quite nice and small shaped, so I'm going to go with that. We've got courgette, carrot, savoy cabbage, lots of yummy vegetables to make a really hearty, warming soup. We'll start with all of our veg. So we've got onion, celery, carrot, courgette. Add this to the pan with some olive oil, heat that through and soften it, and then add our, also garlic, put this over here, and then add our savoy cabbage just to warm up and fry off all the veg. And this is a litre of stock, and we're adding a tin of tomatoes. Try and get nice ones, I love the nutty ones. Pinch of chili flakes, and a teaspoon of Italian herbs, and season. Now those ingredients are in there. Bring this to a boil and let it simmer for 10 minutes, and then we can add in the pasta, the beans and the spinach. And then we can cook this for another 5 to 8 minutes until the pasta's all cooked. Really comforting. The lemon zest and juice really makes it really fresh at the end. And oh, I love this. Pasta. So we've got loads of tomatoes, and you want to halve all of these so that you can roast them facing up so all the juicy sweet flavour comes out. And this is 1.5 kilograms. You could do more or less. It's not like a recipe that's really specific about the amounts. It's kind of preference. Same goes for the amount of stock. You could add more or less depending on how runny you like it. Now we've got all of our tomatoes and veg in a roasting tray. We're going to roast this in the oven for around 40 minutes. Might be a little bit less, might be a little bit more, until it's all juicy and yummy. We have our yummy juicy tomatoes, and this can be put in a pan to use a hand blender, like an immersion blender, or you can put this in a high-speed blender or food processor, I'm going to do that because it's a bit easier. But for the garlic, make sure you squeeze the cooked garlic out and don't put the skins in, because that wouldn't taste very good. Fun fact, my favourite soup when I was little was the Heinz tomato soup, which I feel like was probably everybody's.
Fun fact.
But, huh?
That's a really fun fact.
Oh, it's a really fun fact. Well, some people might have preferred chicken noodle soup or, I don't know, potato leek soup, but I loved Heinz tomato soup. Stop laughing at me. And this tastes like it. It's the roasting of the the tomatoes that makes the difference. And Heinz tomato soup isn't vegan. It's got milk in it. Or maybe it is now.
I think they just released one.
Yeah, maybe they've released one.
2023.
But doesn't beat it making it from scratch. And roasting it makes quite a big difference to the taste. And I feel like it's quite lazy because you don't have to stand over the stove doing it. You just shove it in the oven. If any of you remember where I created this recipe, it was during Vlogmas and Alex was ill and I made him some tomato soup. So I finally written the recipe up for you. This is my take on a chicken noodle soup, kind of a classic comfort meal if you're ill, except I'm going to use mushrooms and specifically oyster mushrooms. These are a really great alternative to meat because they tear up and shred and have a texture like meat. So get oyster mushrooms specifically, and instead of chopping them, you basically just take one of the mushrooms and just rip it, and then it kind of has the effect of shredded chicken when you cook it. And I love mushrooms, and if you don't love mushrooms, then you need to get on it because they're so delicious and you're probably not eating the right ones. And we're going to use angel hair pasta, and lots of yummy soup ingredients to make a really comforting meal that's going to like make you feel better if you're not feeling your best. So I'm going to fry these in the pan without anything in there to begin with. Now the mushrooms are cooked, and if you haven't tried cooking mushrooms like this, definitely try, because it means that they really shrink down and all the moisture leaves the mushrooms. So look how delicious. Now I'm gonna put in a little bit, make a little space and put in a little bit of olive oil and add in the onion, carrot, garlic and celery. You can get vegan chicken stock OXO cubes, so you can use these if you can find a vegan chicken stock, because often it's just like flavouring. Give that a go. Now we're adding in stock to the pan along with some bay leaves. And like I said, I've used vegan chicken stock to add that extra chickeny flavour. And then bring this to the boil and allow the cabbage to wilt and cook, and then we can add some angel hair pasta. You can use anything, but angel hair or noodles would work really well. And then cook this for maybe 8 minutes or so until the pasta or noodles are cooked through. Oh my gosh, this is very nostalgic. It's really plain, really simple. Really delicious, and you have to try the oyster mushrooms if you haven't done that before, because they really end up looking and feeling like chicken, and it's just the perfect comfort meal. You can use whatever pasta or noodles you like, it just doesn't really matter, but the angel hair works really well. Time to use broccoli. In this soup recipe, we're going to roast the broccoli and use the stalks in the soup because it will be blended, and that means you're going to reduce on your waste. I'm also going to throw mushrooms in there, but if you don't like mushrooms, just leave the mushrooms out of this recipe, and you could always add extra broccoli or just leave the mushrooms out. It's very easy. You're going to roast the broccoli and the mushrooms in the oven. We're going to cook up onion, garlic, carrot, leek in a pan, and then at the end throw it together and blend some of it. You can also blend all of it if you prefer a smooth soup. I know Alex does, but I like to have some of the crusty roasted broccoli on top. But yeah, very, very easy and very healthy. So chop off the heads of your broccoli. I'm using 2 because they're really tiny, but just use 1 head, and put these aside. I lost one. Put these aside and we'll use those later. And we're just going to roast this in the oven for 20 minutes-ish. We've got a big pan with some olive oil in there, and I'm going to chuck in an onion, a carrot, a leek, fry that off for a few minutes, and then we'll add in our broccoli stalks. I will chop these up. It's a really good way to use them if you're ever making soup. Don't discard the extra bits of the soup if you're making a courgette soup or whatever you're doing. Try and use every little part of it, and that will go in with the vegetable stock. That will be the base of the soup, and then when all the broccoli and mushrooms are cooked, we can add half in, blend it all together, and then add in the rest to top everything with a few little additions at the end. So I'll just chuck this in here, and then add my garlic. I'm going to put half of the roasted broccoli and mushroom into the pan and save half to top. If you don't like bitty soup or, you know, whole vegetables in your soup, then just put it all in and blend it all. I know Alex probably would prefer that, but I love having some sort of things to dig into in my soup, so I'm going to save some to top it with. I'm going to add spinach to this as well for extra goodness, and it will make the soup really lovely and green. So I'm not going to cook this for much longer. I'm just going to stir it through till the spinach is wilted and then transfer it into the blender to blend, or you could use an immersion blender to blend it in the pan. And then I'm going to throw some nutritional yeast in. But you can use the same pan if you like to save washing up, to make some croutons, because this soup is really yummy with some croutons on top. So just chop up some bread. Works good with stale bread or the end of the bread. Douse it in olive oil, salt and pepper, and just chuck it in the oven for 5 minutes whilst you're mixing your soup and blending it all up and preparing everything. Add in some lemon zest and lemon juice. I forgot to do this before blending it, but best to do it before you blend it. I really hope you enjoyed those recipes as much as I did. Please let me know if you intend on trying any of them out. I will leave all of them linked in the description for you to follow along on my website. Please tag me if you recreate any of them because I absolutely love to see your pictures, and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. This can go in the oven for 40 to 45 minutes or until everything's all bubbling up, yeah. Why did I say yeah like that? Yeah. I'll do that again.
But you said it so quick that I can't edit that out. Yeah.
Might be a little bit less, might be a little bit more until it's all juicy and yummy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Hello. You know, from Parent Trap. You know when she walks out the door? No, you don't know. You're not the right audience.